Hey guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you an unboxing plus on-feet video of the Adidas Nitrocharge 1.0 in the brand new earth green, white, and solar zest colorway. Now inside the box, all you get are the shoes themselves. They do not come with any extras. So let me get these out of the box really quickly. And if you guys could take a second to leave a like on the video, it would be greatly appreciated. So here is a look at the Earth Pack colorway for the Nitrocharge 1.0. And as you guys can see, it's very green and definitely very interesting. I'd be curious to hear your opinions down below in the comments. I think that I'm 90% of the way there in terms of saying that I like this shoe, but at the same time, would I want to wear it? Not really. I kind of just think it's an interesting colorway. It's definitely very different from Adidas, so I applaud them for that. It's one of those colors that is not for everybody. And again, leave your opinions down below in the comments. Would you wear these? Why or why not? But in terms of that base color, it is that earth green, which we see on all the Earth Pack colorways, but more as like a very low profile accent color, whereas on the Nitrocharge 1.0, it is the main base for the shoe. You're going to find it on the front as the hybrid touch synthetic. You're going to find it in the protective mesh as well as in the laces, and then a little bit here on the sole plate in the form of this visible energy pulse against that solar zest background making up the main sprint frame. Definitely a very interesting color. In person it's very noticeably green, whereas some of the online pictures kind of make it look more dark and more like a black color. But in person it's kind of an olive green, almost like a swampy, dirty water type of color. What I can say that's good about it is, one, if you like how it looks, you like how it looks. That's your opinion. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But what's great about this particular color is it's not really going to show much wear. It's not going to show grass stains. It's going to hide dirt pretty well. So if you're one of those people that doesn't like to clean your shoes a lot but wants them to look clean, I think this colorway will do pretty well for you. Other than that, other accent colors include the white in the Adidas stripes on both the lateral and medial side. You're also going to find some Adidas branding right here, as well as on the tongue. And then of course the majority of the studs are white, at least the tips are. And then of course your other main accent color is going to be this solar zest orange, which was found across several different models from the Samba pack releases. You're going to have that in the energy sling, the heel liner, the Achilles tendon pads right here at the back of the shoe are also orange under the green protective mesh overlay. As mentioned earlier, the sprint frame is entirely orange as well. And for the most part, it's definitely a very interesting accent color to go against a dark, rich green background. So again, leave your opinions down below on the colorways. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why or why not? But that's pretty much it as far as the color of the shoe is concerned, and we'll talk about the performance next. Of course, if you want more information, more detailed information I should say, be sure to check out the full written review on my website, linked down below in the description of this video. I'll also leave a couple annotations on screen to some of the review videos that I have on YouTube, so go ahead and check those out if you are at all interested. But for the sake of the video, we'll go over some of the tech specs on the shoe. Now what's cool and interesting and probably most unique about the Nitrocharge 1.0 is that it's really the only shoe on the market designed to be as protective as possible while still maintaining a very responsive feel. Now, the upper is made up of two different materials. This front area, which appears to be leather, it has a leather-like finish, isn't actually leather, it's a synthetic material, hybrid touch synthetic, same thing found on the Predator LZ2, at least in terms of thickness, also found on the F50 Adizero, but not necessarily exactly the same. So it's more of a leather-like synthetic, and you're also going to find these pre-molded pads here on the forefoot area, which are going to add to some of the overall cushioned effect that you're going to get in terms of making touches on the ball. It doesn't take away from feel or anything like that, and really the main purpose of these pads is to add a little bit of extra protection should you get stepped on at the front area of the shoe, which is quite common for a lot of people. The tongue is also made up of this hybrid touch synthetic, so you get a nice kind of consistent touch across the front of the shoe, whereas the midfoot back, or from the midfoot back, you can see it's made from this plasticky mesh. Makes that sound. It's called protective mesh, and basically this mesh material, while it's very thin, it doesn't add much bulk to the shoe, and it doesn't really take away from the touch all that much. It adds a lot of extra protection to the shoe. It's a very dense material when a stud is applied or something like that. So normally if you got hit in the foot with a standard synthetic material, you'd feel a lot of that pressure, whereas this protective mesh does a good job of dispersing that pressure upon a very large impact, again providing better protection or above average protection in comparison to most soccer cleats out there. I would actually say that the Nitrocharge 1.0 probably is the most protective shoe currently out there on the market. These Adidas strips are slightly rubberized. They have a nice texture to them, and they do add a little bit of extra grip on the ball in terms of what would normally just be a very slick protective mesh surface. So they're not just there for looks, they're also there for function. And then moving on to the back, the Achilles area has these extra pads, which to me is one of the best features of this shoe. It's a really, really good idea. Again, it's not an area of the shoe where the extra bulk is going to be something that you'll notice. And should you take a kick to the back of the heel area right here, which again is very, very common, these pads do a really good job of providing extra protection that you would not normally have. Now, arguably one of the best features of the Nitrocharge 1.0 is the energy sling here running across the forefoot on a diagonal. As you can see, it works in junction with the lacing system, and it's actually just a thick rubber band that is two-sided right here. When you pull the laces tight, it really hugs your foot. There's actually a little outrigger extension right here on the lateral side of the boot. So again, when you pull the laces tight, this rubber energy sling really holds your foot in place. And because it's actually a thick rubber, it doesn't have any stretch to it or anything like that. So when you do make hard lateral cuts, there is almost no kind of rollover in the shoe. It responds one-to-one. It's very, very responsive because of that, and it makes for a really, really good experience in terms of sprinting and, like I said, making these hard lateral quick changes of direction. One of the most responsive feeling boots currently out there on the market. You have more of a high cut, a similar cut to the Predator LZ in the heel area, so it has a slightly deeper fit, which is really, really good. And then the heel liner is made from a kind of textured synthetic material, plenty of padding there, and again, the step-in comfort for this shoe is above average, definitely. There's really not much break-in time required from what I noticed. In terms of the insole, it's a removable insole. As you can see, it features a synthetic suede liner on top, and it's pretty much identical to, again, the LZ2 insole. Nothing to complain about, nothing too fancy by any means, but it's just one single layer of black foam, and it definitely does get the job done in terms of overall step-in comfort. And talking about the outsole really quickly, you do have a sprint frame outsole, which does have a similar heel counter to what you're going to find on the Adizero, but a lot stiffer. It's a thicker plastic material, and again, it's going to provide above average amounts of protection, which is what this boot is all about. And then again, it's a similar layout to what we find on the LZ2. You have that very hard plastic in the heel and midfoot area, whereas in the forefoot you have what they call Energy Pulse, which is a slightly stiffer, kind of more responsive plastic. It kind of bends, it's more stiff to bend, and because of that there's supposed to be more of an energy return when running. Honestly, this is not a feature that is super noticeable, if noticeable at all. If you didn't tell me it was there, I honestly wouldn't notice it when using these shoes, and for the most part this is more of a marketing gimmick than something that actually helps the overall performance and feel of the Nitrocharge 1.0. So just please keep that in mind. Don't buy these expecting to have more energy, expecting to accelerate more quickly, because that is simply not the case. Now, in terms of the stud pattern, again, same exact stud pattern we find on the LZ2, so it's very similar to that shoe in a lot of ways, aside from not having all of those extra rubber elements and of course the absence of the energy sling. But the stud pattern is your standard Adizero stud pattern. It originated from the Adizero, I should say. Triangular studs all throughout. Lots of people like this stud pattern, not my personal favorite, but if you're playing on firm natural grass, it definitely does perform the part. So that's pretty much it in terms of all the tech specs and what you need to know about this particular boot. I'm going to move on next to a quick weigh-in so you can see how lightweight these guys are. Generally, shoes that are designed to be protective have extra bulk, and extra bulk normally leads to extra weight, which is what people don't want in soccer shoes nowadays. Now, what's remarkable about the Nitrocharge 1.0 is Adidas has managed to maintain that level of protection that is well above average in comparison to everything else out there on the market, but at the same time is still nice and lightweight both in hand and on feet. So I'm going to weigh this pair for you today in real time. Keep in mind this is a brand new pair in a size 9.5 US. Going to throw it on the scale, and you can see that these guys weigh in at 8.3 ounces. So again, this is a shoe that is certainly not going to weigh you down. And if you're looking for something that is going to be nice and light, but at the same time nice and protective, again, the Nitrocharge 1.0 is arguably the best option currently out there on the market. So that's pretty much it in terms of the weigh-in portion of this video, and move on next to a quick on feet so you can get a better idea as to how these shoes fit and what the sizing is like. Alright, here's a look at the Nitrocharge 1.0s on feet, and because of the way this shoe is designed, the way it feels from right out of the box, it's for the most part the way it's going to feel for its entire lifespan. The Hypertouch Synthetic does soften up a little bit after break-in time, but because it's pretty much right at the tip of the toe, it's not going to stretch much, it's not really going to expand much, unless, I guess, if you have excessively wide feet. But for the most part, again, you're not going to get any stretch out of the forefoot area because of this energy sling material, and the protective mesh is pretty much plastic, so it isn't going to expand or stretch at all either. So again, the way it fits from right out of the box is the way it fits for its entire lifespan, something that I want to stress with the Nitrocharge 1.0, and something that is pretty unique to this particular shoe. In terms of overall width, for those of you wondering, this is not an excessively wide shoe, but it's not narrow either. If you do have really wide feet, it's probably best to stay away. And again, the forefoot is the biggest point of concern here, simply because this energy sling, again, is not going to allow for any expansion in the upper itself. If it doesn't fit you comfortably from right out of the box, it's never going to fit you comfortably, even if you wear them for several hours. In terms of sizing, I would say that they run true to size. I'm wearing, as an example here, a size 9.5 US. You can see I have a little bit of extra space. Normally I would wear a size 9, which is my true size in this particular situation. But again, just as an example, if you wear your shoe with a little bit of extra space like I have right here, there's nothing wrong with that at all. They're still going to fit you properly. You're still going to get the proper performance out of the shoe. Again, it's more of a matter of personal preference, but I would not recommend wearing your shoes any bigger than what I have on right now. Again, it's a matter of what you're comfortable with. If you like having that little bit of extra space, again, I wouldn't recommend more than this, but if you want something with a little bit less space, more of a snug fit, which is my personal preference, there's nothing wrong with that either. Again, just keep in mind, if you're ordering a pair, going true to size is definitely recommended. Alright guys, that's it for my unboxing of the Nitrocharge 1.0. In terms of performance characteristics, there really isn't anything that compares to this particular model, which is great. It's something unique, and that's what I like to see from these big companies. The simple question is whether or not you should buy this and whether or not it's the shoe for you. And if you're one of those people that constantly worries about protection, find yourself frequently getting foot injuries, frequently getting stepped on, and you're looking for something that's going to be a lot more protective, but at the same time isn't going to weigh you down or feel bulky on your feet, this is the shoe for you. The Nitrocharge 1.0 is highly underrated in today's market and overlooked a lot. So again, if you're looking for something with protection, quite simply the Nitrocharge 1.0 is the best option on the market. So if you guys are looking for more information on the overall performance, be sure to check out the full written review on my website, linked down below in the description of this video. Also on that review page, you will find the high quality images of this shoe to give you a better idea as to how these actually do look in person, along with buy it now links with the best prices online, which also include exclusive SR4U coupon codes, allowing you to pick these up well below the retail price if you are interested in ordering a pair of these for yourself. If you have any questions regarding the Nitrocharge 1.0, be sure to leave your questions down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.